Hi, I'm Claire Jones.
I'm Nstasia Swift.
And we're Sistas
Uprising
Rising. And this is Mina.
We're a Black disabled mother-daughter grassroots project, and we're excited to showcase our 8 finalists for the Sistas Uprising Fund, our Microgrant project highlighting marginalized artists. This year's theme was Black, Indigenous, Women of Color, and Femme-Expressing People of Color. Each visual artist received $200 each.
We plan to increase the funding each time we run the Sistas Uprising Fund, with the next being in 2026.
So check out the following stories from these artists, view our 3D virtual gallery on our website, and feel free to tip us via PayPal so we can continue this work.
Thanks for All Things Digital and our other donors for making this possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Nstasia Swift. My pronouns are she, her. I am a darker complexioned Black woman with Black braids and curls. Some of those braids are pulled to the left front side. I am wearing a black sweatshirt with orange, purple, and green text and blue jeans. I make sculptures out of wool using a process called needle felting, which I've been doing for about 11 years now. I learned while I was an undergrad, and that moment of poking this special needle into the surface of this wool and learning that I could sculpt it and create objects out of this raw material, something clicked immediately for me, and I knew I wanted to make people. And ever since that moment, this material has existed in the form of smaller dolls, as larger figurative sculptures, as masks for my performance-based work. It has allowed me to share this process through workshops, and it has really just kind of taken full control over my practice and the way that I work. I create as a way to tell stories that mean something for people that look like me. I create to offer something more than our trauma and our pain, and to remind ourselves of our joy and our triumph and our ability to create paradise for ourselves. If awarded, I would use this $200 to help catch up on some of my utilities, specifically my water bill. Over the last few months, I've had to come up with creative solutions, whether through workshops or substitute teaching, to help offset some of these expenses, which ultimately just distracts from my ability to focus on this really exciting body of work that I am currently building out. I thank you guys for watching, reviewing, and considering. Peace.
Hi, my name is Gillian Reed. My pronouns are she, they. I'm a brown-skinned Black woman with long, dark, curly hair, and I'm wearing bright blue cat eye glasses. I'm wearing a burgundy dress under a multicolored shawl, and I have on large hoop earrings and a silver necklace. In my artwork, I compose visions of love and loss, fulfillment and emptiness, and shadow and light through the mediums of photography, digital collage, drawing, and painting. I love making art because it is a healing modality for me. Art making over the years has helped me survive unbearable trauma, and I'm motivated by art's capacity to build worlds and act as a healing and potential liberating force. I'm a 4th-year PhD student in art education and women's gender and sexuality studies at Penn State. My research focuses on understanding how making art made possible my survival of trauma as a healing process that I will return to over and over again through the years. I bring my artist self fully to this research, where I weave together strands of study that include art making practices, African spirituality, disability studies, and autoethnography, to bring greater awareness of the value of the lives and contributions of intersectionally marginalized individuals to the field of art. I would be so appreciative were I to receive the Sistas Creatives Rising Microgrant to fund the stretching and mounting of my archival print on unstretched canvas, Eyes of the Ancestors. I plan to explore painting and drawing overlays on the canvas print to bring greater richness and depth to the layers of the image. I named this piece Eyes of the Ancestors to reflect the spirits who watch over me. Thank you again, and I'm so appreciative for this opportunity.
Hello, my name is Ashley Pemberton. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a black woman with curly short hair and sort of like a mini afro / pixie cut style. I'm wearing a dark purple t-shirt and a seashell necklace. I create pieces with acrylic paint, oil paint on large canvases, and I do it because it's very healing. I am a black, queer, autistic woman that grew up and still lives in the rural South, and I'm from an immigrant Caribbean family who migrated here when both of my parents were 18, I think, which is an amalgamation of unique identities. I think that at times it can be difficult to be living with all of these identities, and it can feel isolating and lonely, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. And I wanted my work to encapsulate what it's like to live in the Deep South as a Caribbean woman, as a queer Caribbean woman, as a queer disabled Caribbean woman, and to paint about the joys of doing that and the beauty that I see in my experience. These funds would be helping me to pay for my medical bills, and then in addition to that, it would be helping me to afford more art supplies. It would help me to afford canvases and oil paints, which would further enable me to make more work and propel my budding art career. Yeah, that's me. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Bye-bye.
Shio, my name is Dr. Dawn Karima, that's she, her, and I am an Indigenous lady who is wearing traditional patchwork clothing, a cape and a skirt that has scarlet and gray rickrack, gray satin fabric and red satin fabric, lace. I'm also wearing glass beaded earrings and a medallion that I made myself that are pink glass beads, and they represent my name in various sunrise colors. The art that I do is our traditional beadwork. I'm an enrolled member of a recognized tribe, and I learned to bead from our elders, and I do create in order to have cultural survival and cultural preservation of this very important technique that's been passed down through the generations. Applying seed beads of glass to leather in patterns that have significance in our culture. I believe each piece is a prayer, and they are used for healing purposes, to wear to ceremony, to wear to dances and powwows, to wear as part of our community and our culture, transmitting culture through this traditional art. I also do photography, which is an effort to capture the beauty of the Great Smoky Mountains, where my reservation, the Qualla Boundary Reservation, is located, and hopefully raise environmental awareness to preserve this great place and all of the animal and plant and water relatives that are there. This microgrant is so important to me because I have survived a violent attack last year and I have a lot of medical bills. I would love to be able to buy more beads to make some beading prayers, and I'm going to need new glasses.
Hi, my name is Sera Brown. I use they, them pronouns, and I have on white over-ear headphones over my black hair that's tied up. I have on a tie-dye shirt with pink, purple, and blue tie-dye, and the wears bipolar bisexual stenciled on in purple paint. I have some facial piercings and a few tattoos peeking out from under my shirt, and I'm really excited to talk about what art means for me. Most Personally, it's a great way for me to express my emotions, and I'm drawn to it every time I feel a single thing, or if I'm confused about what I'm feeling. Visual art feels really immediate and really visceral in a way that gets me out of my own head and into my body. And that's partially because of how I use collage and cut paper art and analog materials to make art. It is a very in my body experience, which helps me get out of my head, which is really important for me. I also use art to talk about COVID cautiousness and disability justice, and especially for working towards undoing stigmas around mental illness, just like the shirt. And that's just something I'm really impassioned by, because I grew up in a household that did not talk about mental health, even though a lot of us were mentally ill, and it was pretty scary. So I strive to meet those points in my work. These funds will directly help fund studio space for me. I currently don't have one, and instead I'm using a mix between my kitchen table and just a metal utility cart, and that is not cutting it. So I'm really excited to possibly get these funds to help me get the tools so that making art is more about the art and less about struggling with lack of space. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello, my name is Amori Morris, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a Black woman with curly hair and a green jacket on and orange glasses. I view myself as a storyteller, and the audience I create stories for is Black women. I like to think about displacement a lot in my work, particularly about how we feel as we are raised in society where art and visual media aren't really representative of us. In my paintings, I try to heal from this by creating alternate realities where Black women are the protagonists and leaders, and sometimes that delves into fantastical or mythical spaces. I would primarily be using these funds to purchase art supplies. I'm an oil painter, and it almost seems that I was destined to find this grant, because just last week I was looking around my studio and I realized I was running out of nearly all of my primary colors. And a kind of feeling of dread welled up in my chest because I realized I knew I would be needing to make a very large purchase soon. So these funds would be helpful for me because it's very difficult to sustain yourself as a creative. When you dedicate to your craft, especially in the beginning, we don't really make a lot of money, and that impacts our ability to continue on. I would also like to use these funds to explore new printmaking mediums and take a printmaking class, so I can just be an overall more multifaceted artist. Overall, this would help me sustain my practice during a very difficult time. I would like to say thank you, and I really appreciate your consideration.
Hello, my name is Tyra Barnes. I am wearing a brown cardigan that is leopard print, and I'm wearing a golden necklace. I am a light-skinned Black woman with afro hair that falls to around my shoulders, and my pronouns are she, her. I am a recent college graduate. I graduated in December from Georgia State University with my Bachelor in Fine Arts in Ceramics. I make terracotta sculptures of African American women. I also use a lot of chains in my work. I use these to deconstruct and kind of explore Black femininity and familial bonds. I would use the grant money for applications for residencies and grant opportunities. I am a recent college graduate, so I'm kind of staring down the barrel of repaying my student loans. And I also have $5,000 in other various debts that I am current on, but it doesn't leave a lot of extra money to allocate to application fees. And I would really appreciate any money that you would be so generous to give me. Thank you for considering me. Have a good day.
My name is Brenda Echeverry. I use she, her pronouns. I am a youthful-looking Colombian American woman. I have brown hair, gold-wired glasses, gold jewelry, and a black t-shirt on, and I'm in my home. I am an expressive arts therapist. I am a teaching artist. I am a visual artist and musician. And I'm also a mental health counselor in a public school in Roxbury. I very much believe in the healing power of the creative arts, as in my own life, it has really helped me to overcome and process trauma. It has boosted my confidence. It has helped me to connect with other people, and it has opened me up for more professional and personal opportunities in my life. So it is my way of moving forward and sharing this magic with others. I'm applying for this microgrant because I have a hospital bill that is due. I have experienced a lot of mental health and physical health issues in the past year that are only heightened by the work that I'm doing in the school in an unjust educational and mental health system. And that is the reason why I'm transitioning out of this role to focus on my creative pursuits and my business, art, and soul clinic. These funds would be awesome because it would take a big weight off of my shoulders, and I can use the rest of my income for housing. I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.